Hello, hello, gorgeous human being. Oh my God, it is Monday here in New Zealand. My name is Al Naj, and I am the founder of the Unapologetic Women Global Empowerment Dynasty. If we have not met before, please do say hi in the comments. Let me know where you are calling in from. And if we do know each other, say hi because, well, I just love having a good conversation with my friends. Quite frankly, I will find any excuse to have a conversation. So, as always, my intention is not to share information, but to create spaces for rich conversation from which we all get to calibrate and upgrade in human consciousness, whether for the collective or for ourselves personally, individually. It's all good. Next, I want you to always remember we take full responsibility for our personal happiness and our best being and our mental best being as well. So, if what I say simply doesn't resonate for you, then it's all good, darling. Just kind of like scroll on. This is not for everybody. What I share are for those women specifically who have been searching for something new, for something that's evolved from the status quo conversations that are going on in the world. And today, specifically, I want to talk about this idea, this belief that we have to constantly and forever be working on ourselves. That there's always something to fix, that there's always something to, learn and implement. And I have to say, in my 30 years of professional experience in the realms and professions of psychology and personal development, I have never seen more exhausted women, even the ones playing in the space, than what I am right now. And that exhaustion comes from constantly working on themselves, constantly working with the next person, constantly reading the next book, constantly looking for the next blueprint, theory, whatever it is that they are constantly seeking, because they believe that they need to fix something. And I actually want to read to you the email that I sent out to my list on Friday. And if this resonates with you, and if you want to be on my email list, I will put the link down below in the description that you can go and sign up for afterwards. But I really want to introduce this into our conversation. And so I'm going to read this for you. I'm sitting here in stillness, and my soul keeps whispering to me to delve a little deeper into what it means to be perfect. So I look it up on the internet the way we so often do. And can you believe someone had the audacity to define perfect as having all the required or desirable elements, qualities, or characteristics, as good as it is possible to be? And I think of you and I feel into you and I realize you are perfect. You have all the required or desirable elements to be you. You have all the qualities and characteristics to be you. You are as good as it can possibly get. So today I'm keeping it short and sweet with this one gift of remembrance. You are perfect after all. Your smile makes my world more beautiful. I'm the type of person who's always preached against perfection. The woman who always said, I'm constantly a work in progress. And this almost seems like a dichotomy, because on the one hand, I do believe in constant, continuous, and eternal evolution. That is what consciousness is. Consciousness is eternal evolution through human experience. But where I feel we have come a little undone is in the conversation of there is something that is broken or something that needs to be fixed or something that we are just not doing right, that we have to have a look at and we have to change it. And so in the process, people believe more and more that there is something wrong with them. And so where personal development historically was a space where people already celebrated who they are and they simply desired a sacred space for deeper introspection, a space for support, a space for celebration of who they are for themselves, first and foremost, and then to show up in the world as this person. It has evolved into a space of the broken. If we continuously believe that we have to work on ourselves, if we continuously believe we have to actively work on ourselves, we miss out on the amazing experience of ourselves. What we focus on grows. And I keep saying this to people and they regurgitate it, but they just don't get it. What we focus on grows. You need to pay attention to the words that you are using, especially when you are speaking of yourself. If you are saying, I have to fix the way I think about things, if you are saying that I have to change this in myself, you are not focusing on what is great about yourself or that which you say you want to change into, because you truly believe that that is who you have already evolved into being internally, consciously. And it's just a calibration, a natural calibration into who you already are. Into who you already are, darling. Into who you already are. There is no future version of you. There is no improved version of you. There is only the now version of you. And if you are not divinely in love with who you are right now, it is simply because you are stuck in habitual patterns of thinking of yourself. And you get to change that naturally by allowing yourself to focus on who you truly are. And then from that side, everything changes naturally, without effort, without having to do the work on yourself, without thinking there's something that you have to fix, without believing that there is something that is broken, without any of that stories going on. Because the more we actually allow ourselves to realize that we are consciousness evolving constantly, eternally, consciousness through our human experience, that there is only us in the now, and we get to allow ourselves to be that, then there's nothing to fix. There is an enjoyment instead of who we are, and this lightness around it. There's this freeing around this. When we start thinking of working on ourselves, when we start getting things done, we are back in the masculine modality. Especially in our society at the moment, where the masculine modality is all about high achievements. It's all about what are we here to achieve? What is the next thing for us? Do bigger, set bigger goals, achieve, achieve, achieve. But what I have come to understand, and this is from a woman who was in her masculine for most of my life up until this point, and who did set the huge goals and who did go out on the achievement rally. But achievement comes from a space of wanting to prove ourselves. And when we want to prove ourselves, we are in fact in the saboteur archetype, and that comes from fear. What I've also come to observe in my time in the last 2 decades of working with some incredible people is those who society look at from afar and go, oh my goodness, they are amazing high achievers. Their motivation is not achievement. It's not about proving themselves. In the masculine, they're actually the providers. And they take the provision very seriously. But it's also an allowance energy. And those are the type of people who work with people like myself, not to constantly improve themselves because they think that there is something broken or that they have to change who they are. They simply come into my space to continuously calibrate to who they have already evolved into being through their life experience. And it's gentle and it's natural. It's natural. If you are focusing on yourself, that there is something wrong that you have to fix, or there is something that you have to force, that is what you focus on. Imperfect. I'm perfect. When we focus on the perfection of who we are, and I will confess it took me some practice to consciously sit down and find what makes me rich. Oh, a question that came up in our last soiree. What makes me rich? And finding all those delicious quirks of me that makes me uniquely me and appreciating them regardless of what society holds up as the blueprint of the perfect woman, which we all know is crazy because there can be no blueprint when each one of us has a unique fingerprint, a unique soul print, a unique imprint. When we just allow ourselves to, instead of sitting down all the time and going, what is it that I have to fix and what is it that I have to change? And we invite into conversation, what do I get to appreciate about myself? What do I love about myself? What is great about myself? What are the characteristics of me? Understanding that those characteristics is what makes me perfect. Then that grows in our life experience, and our experience of life changes, and understanding that when we say that we are the creators of our own life experience, this is what we are referring to. Because we get to experience life through the lens at which we look at life. And that lens is either tuned into what is wrong, what is lacking, what is to be fixed, what is to be scared of, or it's tuned into what is wonderful, what is to love, what is perfect, what is rich, what is in abundance. That is the only thing that changes the experience of life. These two operate simultaneously and on different frequencies. Everything is in existence simultaneously and on different frequencies. So where are you tuning your frequency into? Because if you are tuning your frequency into fear, which is what we are conditioned to do at this time in humanity, then you're going to have one experience of life and of yourself. And if you choose to tune into the frequency of love, which is the definition of miracles, then your experience of life and your experience of yourself will be completely different. Same time, different frequencies. So here's my invitation to you today. And I really, really hope that you will listen to this a couple of times, because as usual, it's all over the show for a reason, because that's how it comes through. But the core of my message today, the core of my invitation today, is that you just give yourself a break. If there's nothing to fix and you don't have to work on yourself, because it's exhausting to continuously think that you have to work on yourself, what would you allow yourself to be? Who would you allow yourself to be from a space of appreciation and acknowledgement of the wonder, the richness that is you? One of the greatest blessings in my life has been as I have chosen to shift out of the high achieving field, especially as a woman, was to open myself up to the miracle of connecting with other women in a way that I have not connected before. And today, this morning, I actually spent creating a collage of my soiree members' experience, which was really interesting for me because nobody knew what anybody else was going to say. I simply asked them for an honest expression of their experience of the soiree. And the one thing that everybody said is it's like nothing else they have ever experienced anywhere. And these are all women in business who have been in business for many, many years, whether in corporate or in the entrepreneurial space, who have gone to many, many spaces. And I do believe that the difference is that we do not actively focus on teaching each other anything. I do not focus on changing anybody, and neither do they. We simply come together in a space of love and respect and diversity and have rich conversations. And in the process, we allow ourselves to be who we really are. No masks needed, no persona needed. It's such a safe and sacred space. And I have just loved witnessing the natural evolution, the natural opening up of everybody in that space. And I do believe that that is how it gets to be for us. That the more we allow ourselves to be ourselves, the more we allow ourselves to experience who we really are. And everybody around us get to experience that too. And the more I get to experience women in who they really are, the more I am blown away by the beauty, the love, the support, the richness, the depth of women, like nothing I've ever experienced before. And I love seeing how their unique geniuses are coming to light more and more. One of the members, Amy Locken, shout out to Amy, who is the founder of the Amy Factor, has created an amazing profile for brand identity. And I have to say that when I first heard about it, I was like, oh my God, not another brand identity. But I trust her. And so I'll put the link in for you guys if you are in business. And I went and went through the experience, and I was just blown away by her uniqueness and the fact that she has given herself permission to create something that does not exist anywhere else on this planet at this time when it comes to brand identity. Nothing. I have worked with some of the top brand people. They all follow the same recipe. This recipe does not exist other than through Amy. And she gave herself permission to be the person who brings that to life by being part of the soiree. I cannot say how critical it is to choose the people that you surround yourself with, and that if you choose to surround yourself with people who are constantly teaching you and constantly telling you how to change and how to improve, then I would question that. Because when we start surrounding ourselves with people who are celebrating us and looking for the magnificence in us and finding it, life changes. Life changes. So after this, I will go and put the link in for you for Amy's questionnaire so that you can have that experience of brand identity like you have never experienced before. So insightful, so rich. Wow, just blown away. And why? Because she realized that she's perfect and she can just be. Just be. And when we just be, what happens is that we have this surge of energy because we're not constantly working on ourselves, right? We're not just constantly finding fault and looking for the next thing. Energy has to flow. And when we flow the energy through the perfect vessel into our creations, rather than in a false belief that we have to fix ourselves, our creations are extraordinary. So I really trust and hope that this has been of value for you. If it has been, please leave me a comment. Please share this with other people so that we can start upgrading more and more people in consciousness, especially women, to have a new narrative from which to operate. And that narrative is that we are freaking magnificence in human form. We are amazing. We are beautiful. We are powerful. We are safe. And we can upgrade from thinking that there is something to be fixed and that we have to prove ourselves, that we have to prove our worth, and reconnect to our absolute worth, our absolute perfection, our absolute brilliance, and thereby share our absolute genius. Let's do that. Guys, it's only Monday. I trust that you will have an absolutely spectacular week further. All the invitations stand. If you want to join my mailing list, go and click below. Also, if you want to come to the soiree as my guest, the link is down below in the description as well. It would be such a sensation to have you come along if you are a businesswoman that's just seeking a space where you can be. Finally, freaking remember who you are and how spectacular you are. It is time for us to live our legacies, unleashed, unlimited, and unapologetic. Until next time, cheers.